Hey, this is your boy Ray. This is the Austin Collab Money Talk. Welcome back. We're live on the Fishbowl Radio Network, also streaming live on Facebook. And I'm joined by my second guest, the lovely Robin Munro. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good. And hey, I need everyone out there who's listening and watching to wish her a happy 21st birthday. Happy birthday, Robin.
Thank you. I wish I was 21. You were so sweet.
Hey,
Thank you.
just celebrating your annual 21st birthday.
My annual. Oh. That was a good one.
Right, yes ma'am. So, for you guys who don't know, Robin wrote this book, Pure Deception, a story of lies, betrayal, and deceit. Oh, was that her phone?
Yeah.
Oh. But she wrote this book, a story of lies, betrayal, and deceit. So I'm sure you get this question all the time. How do you tell people about the book without giving it all away? However you do that, go ahead and tell us about
it's
it.
really hard, but what I initially do is I just tell them it's a story about a devoted mother and a wife to a prominent physician. She thought she had it all, but unbeknownst to her, she was married to an accomplished sexual deviant with secrets and vices that would ruin his stellar reputation. He would do anything to protect his image and to continue the facade. Divorce was imminent. They played a very dangerous game of cat and mouse in and out of the courtroom. He wanted it all. She wanted retribution. At the end of the day, everyone pays the price and won the ultimate price. And that's the synopsis of Pure Deception.
Said that a few times before. Yes, and when she says he'd do anything to protect this rut, he went through a lot to really cover his name. Because I read the book, I actually just finished it a couple of nights ago, and it was full of twists and curves. So how did the whole idea of this book come to? How did you say, you know what, I need to write this and make a book?
Okay. Well, initially I wasn't trying to write a book. This is actually something, part of the book is, or the premise of the platform is what I personally experienced. And so it was very painful and very gut-wrenching, and I had to go through therapy. And so one day, it was about a year or so, I just started going through journals and all my sticky notes and, notes that I made, and I got mad, dumped them out, and got on my computer, and I read it. I mean, a lot of people that were even kind of, were there to see what was going on said it's a Lifetime movie and it's a book.
It definitely could be on Lifetime. I'll watch some of those Lifetime. That would fit perfectly. You can talk to some some movie producers or something.
And so I wasn't trying to do that, but at the end of the day, that's what ended up happening. I ended up writing this book, and I mean that's how it got started.
How long ago was this?
I want to say I just got on the computer. I want to say April 2012, and I literally shelved it for about a year because I was still going through a lot of craziness with regard to my divorce. So I picked it back up, I want to say the middle of 2013, and off and on I would continue to write because craziness was continuing to happen.
Going on.
It was constant chaos in my life. And so in 2014 I finished the book. And it was the end of 2014, and I had a friend who knew an author and told me, why don't you just let her read it? And I said, okay. So her name is R.D. Berg. She's actually in Corinth, Texas. She's an amazing author. She has a second book out, and she took it and she read it, and she loved it. And
Really?
she said, is it okay if I give it to my editor? And I'm like, sure.
Why not?
So she gave it to her editor, but the editor, she had other projects lined up. So she said, it's going to be about 3 more months until I can, read your book. So it actually, the process ended up being really long. But once the editor read my book, she emailed me and said that she would like to go ahead and edit it. She said it was relatable. She said it's funny, snarky, and unbelievable. I had to keep it clean. So
you know what? And I was thinking when I was reading it that you can't make this shit up. How can you make this up?
Well, I'm going to say 45% of it was my personal experience, and then once it was so crazy. I was like, I'm just gonna make this crazier, and so that's
the crazier the better.
Right. So I added more fictitious elements to the book.
Okay.
To bring you in and keep you wanting to read the next chapter, So the premise of the book, I want to say the way I started the book and go through the middle. I think you can kind of come to your own conclusion what's fiction and what's not.
The part I wanted to know was fiction was about Nico and Stevie. Is it Nico or Nico?
It's Nico.
Nico, okay, that's how I was saying it. I'm like, is this real?
I don't want to tell too much of the book.
Right.
That was real. That was true.
That's crazy.
Not all parts of it, but how I was introduced to those particular characters at that time is true.
In Miami?
Correct.
Okay. So, in one part of the book that is true, I'm sure you could say that you about a devoted mother. You do have a son, right?
Yes, I do.
All right. What's your son's name?
Justin.
Justin. How old is he now? 17.
17.
And I got to ask you this. What school did he go to? Because I went to a private school in Arlington.
He goes to Green Hill School.
I went to Oak Ridge. You played Green Hill.
Oh, I know.
You heard Oak Ridge?
I know where it is. I watched you all beat us in football.
Yeah,
oh, no. Actually,
we
beat you this year in football. Take that
Oh,
back.
really?
Yeah,
okay.
we beat you. Yeah, we were 12-2 this year. Why did I say that?
Okay. Does he play any sports?
He plays football and tennis.
Okay. Good. Well,
he's actually at John Newcomb's right now at tennis camp. So.
Okay, great. He's in summer. It's summertime, right? Cool. So you talked a little bit about it being a long process because I'm actually working on the book. I'm about 90% done with the first draft.
Okay.
And I know it's a lot of people that may be listening or following. There's a lot of people out there who just say, man, I want to write a book. Or I should write a book about, some things that I've went through. Can you just talk about the process from start to finish to completing the book? Because I know you said it's a long process. You got to get it edited. I'm working on my first draft. I feel like I'm going to have to go back and do a whole nother draft.
No, don't make it too hard. And that's the thing. I think it sounds like it is. It's a huge feat, but in itself. But don't make the process complicated. And I need to take my own advice. I'm working on the second book, and I find myself going back doing the same thing I did with the first one. But what you want to do is just start writing. Just start writing, and that was the good thing about what I did. I had all those journals and everything, and I just started writing. And sometimes it all flowed, and sometimes it didn't. But when you're finished with it, you can kind of like piecemeal it because it's like a puzzle.
Right.
And then you can piecemeal it, and then you can read it, and then you can go, you know what? Because I did this, I was like, this doesn't fit here. This needs to go here. So you're constantly editing it yourself. So just write. That's
like before it even gets to the editor, right?
Right, that's before. You just need to have a manuscript. And once you have your manuscript, and obviously you want to have it copyrighted so no one can, steal your book that you're writing. You do that. But that's very easy to do. It's very simple. You can go online. I think $35.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
You can copyright it. And then you want to... I used Amazon.com has a company. It's called Create Space. It's they'll do everything for you from editing to your book cover. I mean, they provide a plethora of resources. I was fortunate enough to have friends that said, "Hey, Rachel Garay said I'm going to do your book cover."
I like the book
cover.
So
she did my book cover. I didn't have to go through Create Space, and we worked on that together. And then, I had friends and new editors, so I could, but Create Space, you can go online and they'll help you with, editing. Now, what I did use Create Space for was formatting my book. There's different ways your book can look and different sizes. So, once you complete and once they approve your manuscript, then you go to formatting, and then it's an approval process. Everything you do with them is a process, and then finally they'll approve your book cover. If they've done it, it may be simpler, but you send the JPEG to them, they approve it, and then you go through it again and again and again just to make sure this is what you want.
Is it ever going to be perfect?
No, well, and you'll find, it's, if you have a really good editor, and I was fortunate enough, I had another editor here in Dallas that I'm going to use for my second book. She's amazing. And, we went through it again, and she was like, okay, you're done. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. So, okay. So I sent it to to Create Space, and I said, I approve it, let's go. So I thought it was going to take about a week for the book to come out. And my sister called me, it was like 7 Dallas time, December 28th, and she goes, your book's on Amazon.com. And I'm like, no, it's not on Amazon. It's going to be on after January 1st, 2017.
Yeah.
And we kept going back and forth. So I got up, got on my computer, and sure enough, it was there. So
Amazon. Awesome. So the book is Pure Deception. I put Pure Deceit in there. That's my bad. Pure Deception. Deceit, Deception. A story of lies, betrayal, and deceit. I know I've seen that somewhere. You can get it on Amazon.
You can get it on Amazon.com. You can order it from Barnes & Noble's online.
Really?
And Kindle.
Okay. Have you done like any book shows or anything like that?
I've done some soft signings. I've not done any large signings yet. I was in Indianapolis, which is my hometown, in March, and I had a really good turnout there for book signing. I was in Atlanta on the 3rd of June, and it was more of a women's empowerment event, and I was on a panel with 3 other authors. We discussed our book and kind of how this book came about, and the audience shared, some things that they had gone through. It was really, really good, and so we all got together and decided
fly on the wall in that room.
We need to collaborate and do more events like that in different cities. So we've been talking about that. So I'm going back to Atlanta next Friday, and I'm on a show, and I'm going to do the show and meet with the event sponsor to see if we all, get our schedules together, because we left and we touched lives, and it made us feel really good, and it's just something I think we all need to do. So.
Right on. No, I agree. That's dope. And I actually, I added the girl you told me about. Is it Twania?
Yes.
I added her as a friend. I need to send her a message.
Yeah, she's in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good that she's kind of in my space a little bit.
Exactly.
Right on. So you talked about the process of, going and getting it edited and rereading it. When you went back to, kind of reread it, did you just read it straight through, or do you kind of find yourself as you're reading it stopping and making little changes?
Stop and making changes. And that's what the editors are going to do anyway. They're going to look, and on the side, they're going to write what their changes are to your manuscript, and then you go and make those changes, and you're kind of going back and forth with the editor. And there were parts that both editors said there were parts in the book in the very beginning that were a little slow, and I still kept them in there because I felt it was really important to develop the story and for readers to know how some of these things came into fruition. But other than that, I took everything that they said pretty much. But it was a good experience.
That's great. I'm glad you had a good experience, and like I said, I'm working on writing a book. And you said you're from Indiana? I thought I read that.
I'm from Indianapolis.
And that's how you got down here to Texas was...
How did I get here?
I guess
I'll make it real short. I was a pharmaceutical rep and was introduced to my ex-husband, and then eventually moved to Houston, and we were there 4 years while he was doing a fellowship for medicine, and then moved to Dallas in '95 to practice. So that's how I got to Dallas.
Awesome. You like it here now, right?
It's home. It's been home since 1995. So,
right.
But I don't know where. Who knows where I'll go after this? You never know.
Right. So you said you're working on a sequel after this one. Have you already started?
Yes, I have started. Yeah, I've started.
Okay. So let me ask you this: What have you learned from writing the first one that's kind of helped you as you prepare to write the second one?
What to do, what not to do.
So
this process should not, it's the process. And now that I know what I need to do, it's not going to take as long.
So what not to do?
Well, stop, which I have done a little bit because with my work schedule, what I do during the day and my son and,
that's
your
the hardest to pick it back up when
it's hard when you stop. So you really have to continue to write. And some nights I'm not writing at all, but I'm writing a lot of notes.
I've found myself doing that. Writing ideas down.
You have to keep your pen and your paper next to your bed. But the hard thing is then I started doing it on my phone, but then it got so bright and then I'm up the rest of the morning. So I don't know. But it's always good to just keep your paper and pen next to you, and when you think of something, write it down, because there were times that I had some really good material and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna get up and do that later, and forgot everything that I wanted to put in there. You go to sleep, and so that's why it's important to, when you think of something and you think it's going to be important to the book or developing the book, that you need to have your pen and paper next to your bed so you can write it down.
Now, the book, it tells a lot about, you know, kind of things that you said that she experienced, which was crazy, and I felt bad, really. I felt really, really bad. I'm like, damn, that's some messed up shit, like, for her to go through that, but you made it out, you know? You still here, and you got through, and you persevered. That's what I kind of took from the book, like, man, this is someone who was doing first what's best for her son, and being strong, and I just want to commend you for making it through, because that could knock somebody down, you know?
Absolutely. It's like, well, I had a Facebook friend send me a message, and she said, you know what, I'm so proud of you. You're turning your pain into purpose.
Yeah.
And when she said that, I've just kept that's resonated in my head, that I have taken this pain into purpose. And don't get me wrong, I do have good days and bad days. Don't get me wrong. Right. But I do want to share with the readers, because I don't want to tell too much about the book, but there are some takeaways when you're talking about all the stuff that I went through.
Go ahead.
And the takeaways are as follows. You know, they're
back to me, so.
No, it's like always, you know, treat people the way you want to be treated, you know? And it's really sad to say that, you know, I had to go through this to find out, you know, who your friends are. Somebody you were with for 20 years that you thought was one way really wasn't that way. It's interesting, and that's why I said just pay attention. And it's not like being paranoid. And that was the thing. I was not. I wasn't paying attention enough. I kind of was just living my life, and things are wonderful, and things are great, and I was missing a lot of signs. So
yeah, that's great. That's why I'm always like skeptical of getting married, because you just never know who a person is.
And
that
I don't think
scares me about.
No,
people.
you know what it is. You have to pay. I think, you know, and people say, "Well, didn't you know this person was that way?" There probably were certain things, but that were hidden or didn't evolve until the course of the marriage or in the middle of the marriage, that I probably should have said, "There's some things going on. We need to handle it and take care of it," because. You know, no, I didn't enter a marriage to marry and get divorced. I mean, nobody does. But inevitably, at some point, with the divorce rate, those things happen. But it can, you know, you can say, you know what, this isn't right. We need to fix it, kind of thing. And I just wasn't in a frame of mind or enough frame of mind to pay attention to think that there was anything wrong until, well, you read the book. So.
Yeah, you guys definitely got to read the book. It's Pure Deception, the story of lies, betrayal, and deceit. It's on Amazon. You can also order it on Barnes & Noble.
And Kindle.
So definitely check that out. So just to kind of follow up on the takeaways, one of the things that I took away from it was, it's kind of that from your experiences about humility. Like, because you had some humbling experiences in there that I don't want to give it away, but I'm like, dang, you went from that to this. I'm like, wow. Can you just talk about that experience of being humbled? Because I know a lot of people rise to the top, you know, you get wealthy, you get successful, and they take it for granted, and you can get knocked back off, you know, just like that. So just actually appreciating, I guess just talk about, you know, that humble experience and appreciating what you have.
Yeah, you have to go through things, and I guess this is something I had to go through to humble me. I think you know, when I look back, I think I did probably take a lot of things for granted. But now, you know, in my birthday and being much older in my life experiences, a lot of things, you know, those things don't mean anything to me. You know, friendships are important. You know, to me, family is important. You know, helping other people, you know, pay it forward. It's like somebody, you know, people inbox me all the time, and they're asking me questions, and they're like, is it okay, or do you mind? Of course I don't. No, I don't mind. I mean, you know, everybody should just pay it forward and help that next person. And I love the fact that I have other authors that are on my Facebook page, and they give me really good, you know, we banter back and give me really good feedback. And there's a gentleman in Darrell is in L.A. and he read my book and he loved it, and he's written a book, and he's got some other things going on, and he made some suggestions, you know, for my second book. And so I texted him and I said, I listened to what you said, and I think that's the direction I'm going to go. So, but yeah, I've got, you know, I've had people like you that said, I'm writing a book, and I'm like, just when you're done, let me know. I can give you, you know, who my editors were. You know, I can help you get onto Create Space, and you just create your login. You sign up as a member. It's free,
Yeah.
and certain services at some point there's a charge, but it's not really a lot of money to do it. So I don't mind helping anybody. So if anybody out there wants to write a book or has any questions, you can get a hold of me at robinmunrobooks@gmail.com.
There you go. I also got her tagged in my my post as well, so definitely check her out. I thought it was a really good book.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I told you the other night, you have a distinctive voice, and it was an easy read. It was easy to keep turning the pages and going through the story. Like, dang, what's gonna happen next? And I was like, man, what's gonna happen? Like, is it about the divorce, like that being that drawn out? Like, dang, does it take that long? So
Now, did it end the way you thought it was going to end?
it didn't.
Okay,
I
good.
thought, I thought it was going to end different. Yeah, I definitely thought it was going to end different. Has your ex read this book?
Yes.
He has.
Okay, let's put it this way. He told my son, I heard your mom wrote a book and it's trash, but so maybe he read it. I don't know.
Dang. Dang, that's crazy.
I think it's hilarious.
Right. I would have signed a copy and sent it to him. Him and his new wife. Hey, y'all check out my book. Y'all are inspiration for my next one. Free.
Oh, my publicist over there. What did you say, Keisha?
No charge.
No charge.
Right. So when it first came out, let me ask you this: when you first got it published, did you have a goal on how many copies you wanted to sell?
Yeah, it was hefty, but I'm not there yet.
That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make big, hefty goals.
I wanted to sell like 500 books, and I'm getting there. It just it's not happening automatically. I think the first month I saw 150 books, which is good.
Right, that was that peak when you first.
But I mean, that whole January, the momentum. But the key is with the book, again, the other thing is marketing. And then having this day job, I'm marketing, and then I got to market this as well. So
you've been in sales before, so shouldn't it?
Yeah, and it's so funny.
Helped you to
it has
start
because
selling?
I can, I talk to, I'm in healthcare marketing, and I'll have a luncheon, and people will start talking about something. I'll say, hey, do you read any books? Oh yeah, and I'm like, oh well. Pull out the book, and they're like, oh, what is it about? And they're like, oh, we want it. So I've actually sold books to a lot of my customers that like to read.
A lot of people like to read. Reading has literally, Robin, changed my entire life. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now if I hadn't picked up a book and started reading and meeting new people. By the way, me and Robin and Keisha met probably 4 or 5 weeks ago. I was out with my good friend. I don't even know how we sparked up a conversation, but we just started talking because y'all are obviously people person. I'm a people person, and we're sitting here, so I think that's pretty amazing. But my point was, it's just about reading has changed my life. So it's a lot of different people who are readers. Do you read any fiction books or self-help books?
I was an avid reader.
Really?
And that's why it helped me even write this book. I was a big, Terry McMillan fan, Eric Jerome Dickey, Elin Harris, who's, God rest his soul, is no longer here. I read all kind of books, and my son's an avid reader too, huge reader.
If I could go back, that's what I'm thinking. If I could go back to high school, I would just read. I'd probably be a millionaire by now.
But yeah, I like books that, and I think that's what helped me write this book. Is you have to know how to grab your reader and just continue, because there were books that I did read, and then it kind of got slow, and I would stop and I wouldn't go back to it, and I'm like, oh. And then it picked up later, but that's what helped me, is just reading certain books. There's a couple of books out there. Another author, she's no longer around. She wrote a book called The Secret Wife. So good.
Really?
Ooh. Not as good as this one, but
there you go. I like the thrilling books. Like, man, what's going to happen next? I like those.
This is a little bit crazier than that one, but
really?
I like those kind of books that they just keep you going. You don't want to put the book down. That was one I couldn't put down. I read it in a day and a half.
Right. So
a weekend. This
is kind of another personal question, and I've actually learned some things about reading. If you're writing a book that has dialogue, I think it's a great idea to read it's helped me to read 2 or 3 books while writing my book that has dialogue because it gives you different ideas. And the thing that I liked is you have to be descriptive. You have to paint a picture with your words. You have to actually have to.
You can't tell. You have to show.
Yeah, you have to show. You have to
show. And
see
it's
you in that small ass room in Miami, or by the pool, or eating some fancy shit. I'm like, is she fancy? I'm like, dang, she living a hot life. They excuse me. I'm surprised she even spoke to me. Because if I took you out, we going to Saltgrass.
Which, by the way, Keisha and I were just there 2 weeks ago. So, see.
I was about to say, we're not above Saltgrass.
Right? But my point was that you were really descriptive, and that helps me. And actually, I know it's good when I have to stop reading and go look up a word. Like now I know what is it, palatial, like a big house, spacious.
And that's the other thing, you have to use the thesaurus too. You don't want to use just like regular words because sometimes you're talking about a subject and then maybe later you're talking about it again. You don't want to be repetitive. So you have to kind of rephrase it and still make it interesting. So I mean it does take a lot of massaging and but then you get help from your editors too because there's things that I work I love the way I said, oh, this is great. She goes, well, I think you could have, and then she'll get on the computer and go, and I'll go, how'd you do that? Yeah, that's great.
That sounds much better. See, that's what I was going to ask.
You have a really good editor.
Like, because I want to say this, but I want to, to make it a point or have people like, oh, wow, that. Instead of just saying it in a boring way.
Yeah, so I acknowledge my editor. Adrienne Norwood is the second editor, and she's here in Dallas. That's the one I'm gonna, mainly use for. And Amy Donnelly was great. She was the first one that read my book and said, great things about it. But I don't know if you, when you opened up the book and you read the quote, did you think anything of that, or did it mean anything? Did it? Was that my way of saying something that I wanted the world to hear?
I jumped out because I stopped watching Empire. It got dry to me.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, I wrote this book, and I said, if you have something to say to someone, let the world hear you say it. So,
I did, yeah.
And and it went on from there, but...
was it your idea to put all those quotes at the beginning?
Yeah, that's the thing. I wanted to put a quote for each chapter, so it would set the reader up for what is she took, but she was blindsided. What happened? So and I try to make that quote really, connect with that chapter. So
right. How did you come up with naming the different chapters?
Just feelings, and this is the thing. People are like, and you wrote, I'm making a big deal about writing a book, and I tell people, I said, I wrote this from pure emotion. Seriously,
I could tell.
It was just so crazy and emotional. I just wrote it from emotion, and so the double life, because that's what happened. The first chapter of the book is called Lies, Betrayal, and Deceit, because that's what started all this craziness. Right. So every chapter, I just came up with it. And I didn't realize I was that creative, but obviously there has to be some level of creativity to it as well. So,
guys, like all ideas and concepts, everything that you see out here started in someone's mind. Like people, I think we don't use our mind enough to create, to imagine, to dream, and to build. So I think that's good that you put some of your creation and your emotion into that book. And I also like that it has swearing in it. That was that made it real. That made it real.
I was trying not
that
to.
Made it relatable to me. My mama gonna hate that. She told me not to cuss on air anymore. I'm like, I'm just gonna be myself.
And that's the problem I had with it. And then people were like, but then it's gonna be boring. I mean, that's what was said. That's what happened. So put it in there. But it bothered me a little bit when my son is pitching it at school and having his classmates buy the book, and I'm like, what? But they're all high schoolers. They're juniors and seniors and about to go out to college.
Right. So how is he doing? How did he handle that whole thing?
He's still trying to recover.
Really?
Yeah, but everything's a work in progress.
Yeah, my parents actually split probably around the same time. I think I was like in 6th or 7th grade. My parents split up, and it was tougher at first, but it got past it. So yeah, man, Robin, I definitely appreciate you taking time out of your day, out of your birthday, to come join me. And 2 more things before we wrap up.
Okay.
First, I have to do this. I have to do this. I've been doing this with all my guests. It's just like my rapid fire question. So I ask you a question, and you give me the first answer that comes to your head.
Okay.
All right. Favorite restaurant?
Papa Steakhouse.
All right. Next place you want to travel? First thing to come to your head?
I'd like to go back to Barcelona.
Barcelona. I've never been there before.
It's nice.
Favorite football team?
Cowboys.
Hey, they're right around the corner, by the way.
Right.
Already. Favorite football player?
I like 88.
88.
My
Which
son's
one?
always been 88.
Dez Bryant, throw up the X,
Okay,
or Michael Irvin?
Because
I like both of them.
I'm
really.
going to tell you
I like
about.
all the 88.
I'm going to tell you about 88. I like 88. The Cowboys 88, but I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, so we have the Colts.
Marvin Harrison.
Oh,
yeah.
So
my mama loved Peyton.
So
Manning.
my son's first 88 jersey was a Marvin Harrison jersey.
Oh, yeah.
He's been 88 ever since he played flag football all the way through high
Really?
school. He's still 88.
Okay.
But he's a huge Cowboy fan, so of course he has Dez's jersey. I have Dez's jersey, but
I need to get Dez jersey.
So-
I got that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, so
I gotta
huge
get
Cowboys
Dez.
fan. But that's how 88 really came about is Marvin Harrison because
Harrison.
I'm from Indianapolis.
I like that you're a sports fan, by the way. That's why I asked a sports question.
I love sports, all
Yeah.
sports. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, I appreciate you. I got something for you.
Okay, what? Hopefully it's some money. I'm kidding.
I know you used to that money. I ain't got it though. I'm working on it though. You know what I'm saying? So you gonna.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you so much. Can I open it or just?
We had it
Oh, yeah,
here.
go ahead and
Okay,
open
here.
it.
Thank you. He knows my drink, doesn't he?
I was reading.
We're talking about the book. Oh, yeah, the Berryville.
Uh-huh, yeah.
That's funny. Thank you so much.
So, guys, there you have it. My second guest, the lovely Robin Munro, author of Pure Deception, A Story of Lies, Betrayal, and Deceit. Check it out on Amazon, order it on Barnes & Noble, Kindle. I'm sure we'll be in many more bookstores coming soon.
I'd like to have a big book signing here. I'm working on it. It's just I'm kind of going to the places where people are pulling me right now, but would love to have a book signing here. So if you guys know of a place or know anyone, I would love to have
someone. I might
book
really
signing.
know someone. A friend of mine I used to work with, they got a bookstore out in Fort Worth. So
Okay.
I'm make a phone call and try to play power connector. That's actually my future goal is to be a huge power connector. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
But anyways, Robin Munro, this is the Austin Collab Money Talk. Another episode, another show brought to you by. This show is sponsored by the McCrary Financial Group, McCrary Financial Solutions. He has a really good financial education course. The link is on my Facebook. Check it out. Learn how to build a business, learn how to start participating in the stock market, learn the importance of financial literacy. He has a ton of information on there, so you check that out. Next week, I will have another special guest in studio with me, Brandon Reed. He's a young entrepreneur, young man. I think he's in his 20s doing really big things, positive things, making a positive impact. He's going to be in studio with us. And that's all we have for today. This is DeRay, my guest. Thank you to both of my guests, Rajay Griffin, Robin Munro. Keisha, we're going to have to have you come back on here and get some threads in here. So, talk about the fashion because I'm trying to get into the fashion world. But yes, thank you. This is DeRay. This is the Austin Collab Money Talk. Signing off on the Fishbowl Radio Network. Everyone have a blessed day.